नमस्कार। प्रीति ब्राह्मिनजीको पुस्तकको विमोचनको तेस्रो भाग म यहाँ पस्किन गइरहेको छु हजुरहरूलाई। यहाँ विशिष्ट अतिथि अनि लेखक आफै प्रीति ब्राह्मिन तथा जिडिनेसका अध्यक्ष महोदय आदि आदिका वक्तव्यहरू छोटो छोटोमा प्रस्तुत गरेकी छु र पुस्तक पढिसकेपछि पुस्तक के कस्तो रहेछ त्यसबारे फेरि म चर्चा गर्नेछु भविष्यमा।
यसको साथसाथै यस कार्यक्रमलाई सफल तुल्याउनमा परोक्ष रूपमा अनि अपरोक्ष रूपमा धेरैले नै सहयोग गर्नुभएको छ। उहाँहरूप्रति हामीले कृतज्ञता अर्पण गर्नु, धन्यवाद दिनु हाम्रो कर्तव्य बन्दछ र धन्यवाद ज्ञापनको कार्यक्रम यहाँनिर प्रस्तुत गरिदिनु हुन म यहाँ निम्त्याउँदछु माइला बाजेकै नाति श्री कुन्दनराज सुब्बाज्यू। कुन्दनराज सुब्बा माइला बाजेकी छोरीको छोरा हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँले पनि माइला बाजेसित धेरै समय बिताउनु। उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ माइला बाजेले अथवा हाम्रो बाजेले हामीलाई नाति नातिनीलाई पुरा माया गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, छोराछोरी भन्दा पनि हामी नाता नातिनीलाई पुरा माया गर्नुहुन्थ्यो। भनिन्छ नि साउको भन्दा सुतको माया बेसी हुन्छ भनेर, त्यसै कारण होला माइला बाजेले नाता नातिनीलाई त्यति साह्रो माया गर्नुभएको। र माइला बाजेको छोरीको छोरा यहाँनिर श्री कुन्दनराज सुब्बाज्यू। धन्यवाद।
श्री गिरी गुरुज्यू, हाम्रा अति प्रिय श्री रत्नलाल ब्राह्मण, उहाँका ज्वाइँ नर्थ बङ्गाल विश्वविद्यालयका नेपाली विभागका प्रमुख विद्वान डाक्टर मोहन पी दाहाल अनि भर्खरै हामी सबैलाई बताउने भाषामा बोलिदिनु हुने, यस पुस्तक बारेमा बोलिदिनु हुने हाम्रा समाजका, जातिका अनि भाषाका एक दिग्गज व्यक्तित्व, कवि अनि समालोचक अनि भाषाविद भाइ श्री मनप्रसाद सुब्बाज्यू अनि आज यहाँ सबै उपस्थित रतनलाल दाईका प्रिय, उहाँलाई स्नेह गर्ने, उहाँलाई माया गर्ने, उहाँलाई ससम्मान उहाँको विषयमा कुरा गर्ने हाम्रा दार्जिलिङ, हाम्रा पहाडवासी, हाम्रा तराईवासी, हाम्रा डोर्सवासी अनि हाम्रो यो विराट अनि विशाल भारतवासी सबै दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई मेरो आन्तरिक हृदयबाट नमस्कार। सर्वप्रथम त म हाम्रो दार्जिलिङका एक अद्भुत, अद्वितीय अनि सम्मानीय व्यक्तित्व, युग पुरुष श्री रत्नलाल ब्राह्मिन, जसलाई हामी माइला बाजे भनी चिन्छौँ, उहाँको बारेमा लेखिएको यो पुस्तक रत्नलाल ब्राह्मिन द रेड लायन्स अफ द हिल्स भन्ने पुस्तक उहाँकै नातिनी विदुषी श्रीमती प्रीति ब्राह्मणले लेख्नु भएको अनि मर्निङ प्रिन्टिङ हाउसबाट मुद्रित अति सुन्दर पुस्तक, अति ऐतिहासिक पुस्तक अनि अति अब्बल पुस्तक, यसको लोकार्पण भयो भनेर चाहिँ म प्रथम घोषणा गर्छु। विद्वान अनि वर्तमान सिलगढी जलपाइगुडी डेभलपमेन्ट अथोरिटीका भाइस चेयरमैन श्री अमर सिंह राईज्यू, नर्थ बङ्गाल विश्वविद्यालयका विद्वान डाक्टर खेमराज शर्माज्यू, हाम्रो धरोहर सारा भारतमा एकमात्र गोर्खा नेपालीहरूको
आजको यस पुस्तक विमोचन समारोहमा पुस्तक अनि पुस्तकमा भएको पर्सनालिटी दुवैलाई माया दिनुहुँदै उपस्थित हुन भएको महाअनुभवहरूलाई म तह हृदयबाट धन्यवाद व्यक्त गर्दछु। निमन्त्रण स्वीकार्दै कष्ट गरी यहाँ उपस्थिति दिनुभएर आजको कार्यक्रमलाई सफल बनाइदिन भएकोमा म आभारी छु। हजुरहरूको अनुमति लिँदै मेरो अथर्स रेस्पोन्स म पुस्तकको पार्ट 2 द आर्ट अफ ऑडासिटी ग्रेसबाट रिड गरेर सुरु गर्न गइरहेछु। यी प्याराग्राफहरूमा हामी पुस्तकको प्रोटागनिस्ट माइला बाजेको पर्सनालिटी अथवा व्यक्तित्वको केही इन्ट्रेस्टिङ ट्रेट्स व्यक्त भएको पाउँछौँ। सो समय हाम्रोमा कम्ती छ र म अलिकति छोटो गरेर नै सबै भन्दैछु। So this is grace. Baje felt that what was unjust in society was adharam. He would neither practice untouchability nor take caste rigidity seriously. It was an age where women were the second sex in every aspect of life, but he could not agree with literary works like Badhu Siksha, advocating the servility of women as a virtue. He agreed that an animal may be slaughtered for food, but he could not accept religious sacrifice to appease gods. On learning that idol worship was not really necessary according to Vedanta, he taught his children to love and revere their parents and elders, not idols. Thus, he was to advocate the noble thought that one's parents were the true Devta and Devi who deserve worship while alive and not after their demise. The second paragraph that I'm about to read is pertinent to the venue because it concerns the genesis of this institution. So a short paragraph here. With a condescending grunt, the officer asked him if it was true that Baje and his friends had started an association. On being affirmed, he demanded to know the sum of their sorrows, or rather the sum of their sorrow-alleviating activities. Whose dukkha exactly had been alleviated by the Gorkha Dukkha Nivarak Sammelan? The dukkha of the dead, he replied. We shoulder the bodies of the abandoned dead and arrange their funerals to give them their due human respect. The dukkha of the sick, for we carry the disabled poor to the hospital when they have no other help. The dukkha of the shelterless, for we arrange aid for dejected immigrant Gurkhas and refugees. The dukkha of the orphans, for we provide food, shelter and education to the orphaned. Thus, in steely seriousness, advanced his commendable list of activities in addressing dukkha. This is not your job. it's the job of the government to provide for them all, came the deliberate retort. Then we're only doing what the government would do. We're but helping to live. Where is the error in that? That clinched the argument in his favor, and the officer had no more cause to detain him. There was certainly nothing questionable in their intentions. Since then, the authorities thought best not to upbraid the members of the noble society. So, if someone were to ask me why I thought of writing this book, I would have to go back to the past when I was a child to seek the answer. With the passing away of our beloved Hajur Bua on the 4th of January 1989, though a child, I acutely felt the vacuum created by his loss. Now, on looking back, I feel that if the word orphan or dura were an emotion, I definitely felt it then. With time, that emotion had drained from my heart and sunk into my bones. That deep-seated echo of loss never really went away. Later, a few friends and acquaintances would ask me if there was any work in him in the English language. I couldn't help them with any references. The seedling of an idea for a biography was planted by Vivek Chetri of the Telegraph during a brief interaction in 2016. Though I have not been ambitious in any scholarly pursuits, the need to find out and know more about this person, whose absence was a lingering presence in my life, began to grow. I felt that his story should be accessible to anyone who wanted to know about his life. An exhaustive account of the richly lived life of someone as uncommonly fearless and resourceful as Maila Baje would be a tall order to meet. Still, as though erecting an edifice of love, I modestly tried to reimagine his story, brick by brick. Thus, I began to record my recollections of the past in an unorganized way. I gave it a rough start to see if I could actually write on him. This was in 2016. Then I paid a visit to Sri R.B. Rai and met some of his old comrades at the party office. I received a wealth of information from them regarding the history of the party and their work. The books I could avail of through their advice were so hugely helpful in building my narrative. Books written by M.P. Dahal Sir, R.B. Rai Sir, late Sri Badri Narayan Pradhan were indeed the foundation upon which I could build. Then I found some declassified information on the internet and some personal records of administrative officers about the period, which were a big help in understanding, the time. I was very lucky to find these and other wonderful books and articles on the history of the period that Maila Baje lived in. Now, as the book began to take shape, I encountered a number of pitfalls and revelations. I definitely didn't realize at the outset that this journey of writing the book would be as emotionally and physically exhausting and taxing as it turned out to be. I would do my reference work and write late into the night, and this took a toll on my health as well. I had to picture the events with my mind's eye against the historical backdrop and imagine the lives of the people, especially of the plantation workers, and that was extremely painful.